So, welcome to day 3 of 365 days of self-love and realization. So, today we're going to dig even a little bit deeper than we did yesterday. And I'm just going to share with you one story about an experience I had through a great portion of my middle school years. And if you live in another country and you don't call it middle school, so middle school is like grades 6 through 8 or 9 or something like that. And at that age, kids are really, really cruel. I mean, adults can be really, really cruel, but that's just kind of like really when things are starting to change for kids, and the kids just can just be really mean. So my story is about this boy that I had a crush on, and he rode my bus. And he was also from probably the richest family in the county. So when I grew up, I lived on a lake. And it was awesome because during the summer, we would water ski every day. And during the winter, my dad owned a restaurant, which was a quarter of a mile away from a ski resort. And we had season passes and we would ski in the winter too. So we were skiing in the summer, skiing in the winter. So anyway, where we lived on this lake, there were many people who had a fair degree of wealth that also lived on this lake. And this boy who rode my bus was probably from the most affluent family in the county. And he took it upon himself to make sure that I knew every morning how fat I was. So I got on the bus first, and then he would get on the bus, and immediately he would start not only by calling me fat, but he did it in the most disturbing way he could. And he said it like this: fat, fat. So this was my morning mantra in middle school from this boy that I had a crush on. And when I said something to my parents or adults, they would say, oh, it's because he likes you. You know, boys pick on girls because they like them. And me being naive and trusting these stupid adults I believed them. So there was hope in me. Like nobody, actually gave me the advice to just stay away from him. Don't pay attention. They were like, oh, he just likes you. He's got a crush on you, which at this point, it's like, well, that's bullshit. He's just a bully. But I listened and I believed because I had a crush on him. So what this did for me was, here I was, I don't know, 12, 11 maybe, having a crush on this boy who called me fat every day, so who people told me that he liked me. And I was believing that. With this abuse that was going on, it helped me to form an idea that I was unworthy of being loved because I was fat. And this is one of the things that I also carried with me into adulthood. Like, I would not talk to people because I felt unworthy that they wouldn't like me, or I wouldn't necessarily believe them because I thought that it couldn't be true, that it wasn't a possibility. So I carried this crap with me into adulthood. And one day, another boy who normally drove to school, so the middle school and the high school rode the bus together because the school was at the same time. And this other boy got on the bus and he saw this boy doing this stuff to me. We're calling him Andy because to protect myself. So Andy was doing his morning thing and I was receiving my morning affirmation from him of how fat I was. And the boy said to him, why are you calling her fat? Like, you're fat yourself. So why are you doing that to her? And it never occurred to me that somebody might think that he was fat because I thought that he was beautiful. So we're going to take that kernel a little bit later and we're going to sort of expand on it, because what he was doing is he was projecting on me, but I couldn't see it at the time. Instead, what I did was I linked my body image issue to undeserving or being unworthy of being loved. The reason that I share this story with you is because we all do these kinds of things. We'll see ourselves in one way, and then we will make a judgment about it and determine this equals that. So what I would like for you to do in today's lesson is look at some of the experiences that you've had, some of those trigger experiences from the last video that piss you off, and then look at some of the ways that it has sort of come out in your experience and judgments that you've made about yourself, saying this equals that, because in reality, they're not correlated, but in our minds, they are. So I would like you to do that. And again, we're going to use this to transmute all of it. So I will see you tomorrow, and we're going to go through one more of these stories, and we're going to sort of start changing it around a little bit to understand projection. And then we're going to start releasing that in consciousness alignments, and I'm going to give you other tools. So thank you so much, and I'll see you tomorrow on day 4.